Hello guys, in this video I'd like to explain the use of the request body annotation in Java web development with the Spring framework and Spring MVC. I am Nam Hà Minh at codejava.net. So what is the request body annotation in Spring MVC? The request body annotation is used to annotate a parameter in a Spring MVC controller's handler method, indicating that the parameter should be bound to the body of the web request. And depending on the content type of the request, an appropriate HTTP message converter will read and deserialize the data in the request body into a Java object. And the type of the object is the type of the annotated parameter. And this annotation is commonly used in REST API development in order to bind a JSON document in the request body to a corresponding Java object. It is the deserialization process. Now let me show you real-world code examples that illustrate using of the request body annotation. You see I have a Java Spring Boot project here, and this is a Spring MVC controller class. It is a REST controller that will handle the request to the base URI path /API/students. And this is a handler method add that declares a parameter of type student, name student. And it is annotated with the request body annotation. It maps to the request with HTTP post. And this is the code of student class. It is an entity class that declares two fields, ID and name. Okay, very simple, quite simple. Okay, now let me start this application to test. Before that, let me explain furthermore. You see in this body of this handler method, it uses the object passed into this handler method to proceed the student information into the database and then return the HTTP status code created to a 1. Okay, let me set a breakpoint here and start this student API application in debug mode. Okay, and I used Postman to test. I already created a request to test out the add student API. You see HTTP method post URI /API/students, and in the body of the request is a JSON document. It represents student information with only one field, name, because in addition or creation mode we just need to specify a student name. Okay, now what if I don't use the request body annotation here? Okay, save the change, and now let me start. Okay, let me hit the send button here. Okay, and we come to the debugging perspective here, and you see without using the request body annotation we can examine the content of the student object, the argument passed into this handler method. You see the values for the ID, name are both null, and let me click this continue button. Sorry, it's my mistake. I need to click this button to resume. Okay, and here I got the error, internet server error, column name cannot be null. That means the body of the request here, a JSON document, was not bound to a Java object of type student because I don't use the request body annotation. Now let me use the request body annotation here. Request body annotation here, and run again in debug mode. Okay, now let me change the name here to Mohit Kumar. Click send button now. Okay, now when I use the request body annotation, the content of the request body is bound to this Java object of type student. Then you can see the value of the field name is populated with the value in the JSON document. You see, it is Mohit Kumar here. Mohit Kumar. The value of the ID field is not because the ID field is missing in the JSON document in the request body. Now let me click the resume button and it will continue processing and it insert student into a database, as you can see here, and I got the server status code 201 created here, successful creation operation. Makes sense? So that's why using the request body annotation we can easily read the value in the request body in form of JSON document into a Java object. It is the serialization process, so it's very convenient. It saves us a lot of time. We don't have to manually write code to pass the request body and convert to Java document. Let Spring MVC does that automatically behind the scene. Okay, let me show you more examples. You can also see the handler method replace that also uses the request body annotation here. This is for updating an existing student. Okay, let me show you the use of request body annotation in another project. In this one, in this API controller class, you can see request body annotation here, and here I used a list of detail object. It is more complex. Let me show you another example in location API controller. Add location. Yeah, in this handler method you can see I also use request body annotation to annotate the parameter location detail, and this is the code of the location detail class here. It declares various fields, code, city name, region name, and this is an example of API request for testing the add location operation. Let me show you. Add location here, and this is JSON document here. You see, it represents information about our location with the fields that are mapped with the fields in this Java class. You see code, city name, region name, country code, enable status. So you can see that is the uses of the request body annotation. And you know, the request body annotation has only one attribute required, which defaults to true. If the request body is missing, the server will return an HTTP status code for our outbound request. In case you want to allow for an optional request body, you should check for nullability of the parameter. Let me show you an example of using the required attribute of the request body annotation here. Request body require equal false. So that means the request body is optional. In this case, you should check the nullability of the argument passed into this handler method. If the student object is not null, and then you processing the nullability case here. Okay, so that's the only attribute of the request body annotation require, which defaults to true. And in case you need to specify that the request body is optional, you can use this attribute specify require equal false. But you should check nullability of the argument passed into this handler method. Make sense? To summary, using the request body annotation is a convenient way to have content suggestion XML in the request body automatically read and deserialized into a Java object. This object is then passed as an argument to the handler method. You see, it saves developers a lot of time. Imagine if you had to manually write code to pass the request body and construct Java objects, right? So I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share this video. Thanks for watching.